but it's a lesson to us. It's the trade union movement, organised labour, that is going to move these politicians in our direction. We're not going to plead, we're not going to ask for policy documents, we're not going to ask for favours of politicians anymore. We're going to organise the working class in the workplace, in our communities, and we're going to get the job done ourselves. He is in the building, I'm told. So, and he will be with us soon, so I'll try not to queer his pitch for you. I don't say that anymore, but I'll try not to ruin his speech, because a lot of people have ruined mine already. By using all the numbers and the stats that I had stored in my brain. So I'll try and keep to the broader issues tonight. What we've got in front of us here is a defensive dispute that we're running, along with the other trade unions. That goes for the National Railway and it goes for London Transport. They've got their tanks on our lawn right now, and they've got the tanks on the lawn of the working class, if you're happy to have, lucky to have one, all over this country. Every single public service that we have built since the Second World War, in the settlement that the Attlee government brought to us, is now under attack. Whether it's the health service, the care service, the education services, the transport services, every single one of them is under attack, and the unions and the labour movement have to keep this fight back going and spread it right across the country, starting now. On transport, just on the rail, if we look at the rail section that we're dealing with tonight, £4 billion of cuts Shaps has put up. People are saying to me, why are you going out on strike? Why is this campaign necessary? Well, somebody's sitting in a bunker in Welwyn Garden City with an RAF flag behind him and the Union Jack coming out of every orifice that he's got, decided it was a good idea, given the opportunity that COVID had given the Tory government, to cut £4 billion off the National Railway, and £2 billion off the National Railway, and £2 billion off London Transport. Now, £2 billion of London Transport is a bigger cut in terms than the one on the National Railway, and we've seen the response that we've put up there. This is a bigger attack on Londoners and the idea of a coherent transport system than the one we've got on Network Rail and the train operating companies. And that's why we are fighting back, and that's why we are determined to win this fight, and we won't let it go. And let's be clear as well, transport is a class issue. You've heard it from many of the speakers tonight. It's an equal rights issue, and of course it's an environmental issue. The poorest people in this country will be attacked by poor public transport provision. We already know that. The RMT organises bus workers out in the county towns down in the southwest, bits of the northwest, and along the east coast of England. They are subject to massive cuts to their transport provision. And if you think the fares are high in London, going from the outskirts of a provincial town like Lincoln or Scarborough, it's going to cost you £6 or £7 each way going forward. And if you think working class people can afford that, you've got another thing coming. Working class people will face a future where they're locked in their houses because they can't go to the shops, where they're locked in their houses and they can't put their heating on and they're worried about feeding themselves. If that's not a class issue, I don't know what is. And we will be facing that. These cuts, when they come through, and they are coming, because this settlement that's been announced so glibly over the last couple of days by Shaps and Mayor Khan are just a deferment for when the real cuts are coming. They've not announced service closures as yet. They've not announced curtailment. And the pressure they're under now from the Unite strike, from our campaigns and other strikes, I think means that they're going to roll back some of these consultations on bus services. We'll see what happens in the next few weeks. But it's a lesson to us. It's the trade union movement, organised labour, that is going to move these politicians in our direction. We're not going to plead, we're not going to ask for policy documents, we're not going to ask for favours of politicians anymore. We're going to organise the working class in the workplace, in our communities, and we're going to get the job done ourselves. The London Labour Party, the National Labour Party, all of the so-called progressive politicians in Parliament, except a few, John. Where are they out on the campaigns, fighting against cuts themselves? They should be in the vanguard. We're getting a political campaign in the Labour Party, outside the Labour Party, in the communities, wherever we can get those campaigns going. As was said from Unite, in tandem with what we're doing in the workplace. And that means fighting against the cuts to the libraries, the nurseries, the elders' provision, disability care, whatever it takes. These are all our issues and we should be in lockstep together. And that's why these meetings are so packed. I don't know about you, but I feel something is changing in this country. The people are now ready for change. Ready for action, industrial action, collective action, social action. They want to get on the streets, they want the message to be delivered to whoever's sitting in Westminster. We demand change and we demand whoever's in there that they deliver it on our behalf. In terms of what they've given us over the last couple of days, they've put a lot of complicated documents out, but they've said that cuts immediately. A Labour politician has gone in with a Tory politician and cooked up a corrupt deal based on our members' pay, terms and conditions. We're not having it. They want to take £100 million a year out of our members' pension pot. Not 1 year, not a one-off hit. Every single year going forward, that's the saving. That will come out of our members' pay in retirement. It will come out of their dependents' money in retirement. And on top of that, the benefits will be diluted and our members will have to pay more. That is exactly the same agenda that they're delivering on the National Railway. We're not going to take it on London Transport and we're not going to take it on the National Railway either. They're also saying that the cuts have got to be delivered through a long-term pay freeze. It's not in the document, but it's £230 million missing out of the equation today, and they've told us directly it will come out of your members' wages, on top of the £100 million of the settlement. If anyone thinks that the RMT and the other trade unions are going to settle on that basis, they need to go and have their heads wobbled and their heads examined. That's not going to happen on our watch. We do, or that Mick Lynch does, or that Sharon does, they say, well, you're just a club of the in-house staff. You're just a group of people that are in a privileged position because you've got this leverage. You're holding the country at ransom. I don't know if you've ever met my national executive, but I do know what being held at ransom looks like. And we're not doing that. We're being held to ransom. Because what did they think after COVID? They thought these people are never going to fight back. They're scared, they're cowed. We can make the RMT and ASLEF and Unite an enemy. Nobody's going to support them. They won't get any public opinion. Well, they've got another thing coming. These meetings are packed all over the country. They want that change, they're ready for it, and we've got to deliver it. But it's got to be broader than transport. We've got to unite up all of our communities. The trade unions have got to be a physical presence in those communities, the communities that we've lost to our ideas over the last 20, 30 years. The people that have given up on the labour movement, who've got no idea how to organise collectively. We've got to mentor them to get residents' associations going, to get rent payers' associations going, to get young people's organisations going politically, whatever it takes The unions have got to be there. We cannot leave it to the professional political class to get that job done. It was our job back in the 1890s, and it's our job today. Cancers in this economy now: outsourcing, subcontracting, vulnerable work, precarious work. Every single company in this country is going for it. Nobody wants to directly employ anyone anymore, and you can bet your bottom dollar if it's not happened to you yet, your employer's thinking about it in the near future. The Labour Party, the policy writers, the trade union movement have got to say, we are fundamentally opposed to outsourcing, we are fundamentally opposed to the race to the bottom, and we're going to make it illegal in the next manifesto wherever we can do it. To demonstrate that we're not just about the in-house staff, we are going to run a campaign on London Transport and in all of the train operating companies in the next period to bring our cleaners back in-house, to put them under pressure, to pay them well above the minimum wage, well above the living wage, £15 an hour immediately. All travel facilities on all TfL services now. Full pension rights comparable to the in-house staff, full sick pay rights, all the benefits that the in-house staff get, they should get as subcontractors. If they don't get it, and you don't have to be a social scientist to reach this conclusion, just look around you when you're in any transport facility. That is structural racism. The people that are suffering in this town and in this region are the black people, the brown people, the minorities of this country, and we've got to stand up to the in-house staff and say, we're not having that anymore. There are so many campaigns. We've got to save London Transport and transport provision for the people of London. But we cannot be divided, London against the North. They'll try that game. England against Scotland, whatever they want to do. We cannot do that. We've got to go back to our communities. Let it ring out from this meeting. We are the working class. We are here as a presence, as a force in this community. We are back. We're going to pursue our agenda on our terms through whatever action is necessary, and we're going to change this country, and with the help of people like Bernie Sanders, we're going to change the world. So let's get back there and